Babysitter wanted. Pay 55 cents per hour. Another Reddit post reminded me of this night. 40 plus years later and I'm still annoyed. I was 16. I had my driver's license, a car, a job, and a steady girlfriend. I'm a guy. My girlfriend was going to be out of town for the holidays. One of my mum's friends recommended me to her brother-in-law as a New Year's Eve babysitter. I had always been great with kids. I actually used to be one myself. My mum's friend had 2 young kids and I often helped her out by taking care of them. So my mum's friend asked if I was busy New Year's Eve and I said no. She gave my number to her sister-in-law and we talked and I accepted the gig. They had a boy and a girl and they lived about 15 minutes away. No problem. I get there a little before 6 p.m. Meet the kids, let mum and dad get ready, parents leave. I feed the kids and entertain them. They were allowed to see midnight come in, so about 12:15 a.m. I put them to bed. I wound up reading for the next few hours. TV sucked after midnight. The parents closed down the club/bar wherever they were. They got home about 3 a.m. I heard them pull up, I met them at the door. They came in and I gave them a report. Everything was great. The mum said to hold on, she'd get her purse. The dad said he had it taken care of. He gave me an envelope and they both thanked me profusely for taking care of the kids. I drove home and went inside. I checked the envelope. He had put 5 brand new $1 bills inside. I was annoyed. It took me a while to fall asleep. Being mad trumped my exhaustion. Later that day, I woke up and went to the kitchen. My mum's friend was there with her kids. She asked me how the night went. I told her the kids were great, but her brother-in-law was a complete butthole. My mum was a little shocked I cursed. The friend asked what happened and I told her he gave me $5 for over 9 hours on New Year's freaking Eve. She was madder than I was. After she got done calling him every name she could think of, her eyes welled up. She was about to cry. She felt like a total loser for recommending me. I told her I was mad at him, not her. The next time I saw her and her husband together, he also apologized. He explained his brother was manic. They're never sure when he's off his meds, but they assume he was that night. He had told them he paid me $100. Nope. I never got paid any more by him. He wound up being shunned by the neighborhood and his family. I felt bad for his wife and kids, but this was apparently the start of some very odd behavior from him. Well, I for one want to hear more of this very odd behavior of his. If he's paying you $5 for 9 hours of work on New Year's Eve, I want to hear more from him. Like, this is so cheap. I don't understand. Like, is he really just tight on money that much that he can't give you a little bit more? I mean, come on. Like, what does $5 actually get you these days? Pretty much nothing tangible, right? I think for 9 hours of work, you should be getting at least $100. To be honest, I don't really feel bad that he's been shunned by the neighborhood and his family. He deserves that. That's karma for being an absolute idiot. Now for our second story, entitled parents get physical with me and tell me to make their kid pass his test or else. I'm a black belt in karate, and that means that I volunteer to judge kids who are testing for belt ranks. If you aren't familiar, to move up a level in karate, you have to learn a bunch of material and it gets increasingly harder as you go up. It's normally a very fun process, even as it gets harder, with the exception of the black or brown belt test. Most people pass and are given a list of things to improve on. My school is very zen and self-improvement focused. Now, every once in a while, there's someone who doesn't pass, and has to repeat the semester basically. When a judge thinks that should happen, they have to take it to a vote with the higher belt ranking senseis. Enter the entitled kid. This kid is trouble. He's always been trouble, and I've judged him quite a few times. He's not a bad kid, mind you, it's his habits. He always shows up late, doesn't take karate seriously, which needs to happen as you get higher in rank, will sit for like 30 minutes in the waiting room and do stuff on his phone when he should be at class. His heart just wasn't in it, and it was clear when he was taking his brown belt test, which comes right before a year and a half of rigorous training for black belt. My dojo is very much focused on helping the kids who need it the most, and put a lot of care into helping people who come from rough backgrounds or those who act out, so it'd all been easy on him. This time I watch him and he's really bad. If you know anything about martial arts, he's not at all where he's supposed to be. People let him skate by, so I fail him and the senseis agree. He cried, but ultimately at the time I knew it would be a good learning experience because I went through the exact same thing and it made me more dedicated. Tough love. The next day, a man I've never met before, the entitled dad, finds me, grabs me by the shoulder and pushes me against the wall while I'm about to go into the women's changing room. I immediately go into a defensive position and tell him to get off, but he's just like, "You freaking female dog, you're gonna listen to what I have to say," and keeps me there. I raise my voice calmly and tell him to get off. I remove him from me. Seriously, what did he expect, pushing a black belt against the wall? Then his wife, the entitled mum, comes from behind him, arms crossed. "Get your hands off my husband. This female dog attacked me. I saw." "No, I did not. I'm going to leave now. They block my path." "You hurt our son. I don't know who your son is. Please leave or I will force myself out." "You failed him, you female dog." He grabs my shoulder again. At this point, I just shout for someone. The entitled mum tries to stop me, but a student has already seen what's going on and I leave with him. I get a sensei and confront them. The sensei, who is a big scary dude who was a marine, really puts the entitled parents in their place. "Do not touch my students in that way or I will remove you from the building." "She failed my son. It's not fair." "Your son was not up to standards." "She hates him. She hits him when no one is looking and is out to get him." "I was the one who approved her judgment. She is also not signed on to work with your son in any classes." The entitled parents are silent. "Well, we have a lot of scheduling problems, so we're late." "That's not our problem." "But she attacked my husband." "No, she didn't." "We pay for his classes. You have to let him pass." "No, you paid to have him instructed here. We can lead a horse to water but can't make him drink. With more practice and dedication, we think you would do better to improve and repeat read this section. The parents are fuming. After a bit more conversation, the entitled dad reaches for me again, but Sensei is quicker. He puts him into an arm lock and leads him out the doors while the entitled mum is shrieking about calling the cops. Needless to say, they never came back. Sad that I never got to see their kid improve, and I wish I could have helped him, but I'm grateful I never saw them again. Yeah, the sad part about this story is that you just wanted to help their kid, they just didn't really seem to get that. I also love that they chose a dojo as the place to pick a fight. Like, if you're gonna fight somebody somewhere, please don't make it be martial arts trainers. Especially not a sensei. I mean, come on, what are you expecting to happen there? You know what, I'm gonna get up in the grill of someone who's so good at martial arts that they get to judge how good someone else is and physically threaten them. What could possibly go wrong? Fantastic logic once again from an entitled dad. Now for our third story. Who knew teenage sleepovers were so dangerous? My daughter had a friend over for a sleepover last weekend. They're both 13-year-old girls. It was all fairly standard stuff. Watch trashy movies, stay up too late, eat too much junk food, you know the drill. Both kids seemed to have a nice time, and the visiting kid was nice enough for someone else's teenage child. And I really didn't think too much more about it. Until the friend's mother called me Sunday night, absolutely outraged over what I had done while her child was in my care. Was it allowing them to stay up too late? Was it the junk food? Was it the choice of film I allowed them to watch? No, my crime was far worse than that. Imagine the mother's horror when she discovered I had allowed her child to, wait for it, drink tap water. Turns out only bottled water is acceptable for her family. Now, I know some places there are issues drinking tap water, but we live in an area with excellent tap water quality, so I was kind of baffled what the issue was. I told her, our tap water is fine and your kid didn't say anything at the time, but oh no, that wasn't good enough. You see, tap water has toxins in it. It's not safe. And her family only drinks bottled water, and she is, frankly, shocked and disturbed that my child was associating with the child of such an awful, awful parent. And that I could, rest assured, I'll be calling CPS first thing Monday to have your child removed from such a harmful environment. I was just kind of stunned and didn't really say anything, and she hung up on me. I'd love to know where she thinks bottled water companies get their water from, and second, we're in Australia and CPS isn't a thing here. So yeah, they're out there. Well, goodness me, if it's that much of an issue, then teach your kid to ask for what they need. And for God's sake, send them out of the house with a bunch of it. Like, how about this? Give your child a bottle of water. Don't blame the parent for not knowing you're psycho about tap water. Like, what? This goes for anything, by the way, not just dietary preferences. Maybe the issue here is that the kid just didn't care. Like, he's normal, only the psycho mum did. I actually think that's pretty accurate. I really think the sooner that kid gets out of that household, the better for her.